All I talk is crack, I can get the brick out. Yeah, it's crazy reminiscing every decision I made. Yeah, I was fucked up. I put in the work and never no nigga can ever just say that I looked up. Yeah, I feel like the hottest nigga out the south. All these pussy niggas need to put on the block. Ain't showing no one, boy, I'm snatching your life, but I'm putting some work. What a hell of a life. Don't fuck with a young nigga looking for skirts. Not fuck with these niggas no more. Half of these niggas be bitch made. Ain't no discussion, yeah, they know I'ma get paid. I was taught never before, never hate on nobody. Yeah, I got grenade. I was just up and found all the fuck niggas. Diamonds above the rim. He don't wanna be baller. Kick his ass up out the gym. Get to the bed, never start with your hustle. Slide out, never trust niggas. All I talk is crack, I can get the brick out. I put in the work and never no nigga.
Thank God for crack. Cook up the crack, watch him eat it up. I got grenade.
You can never just say that I looked up.
Thank God for crack. Cook up the crack, watch him eat it up. I got grenade.
Can never, no nigga can never just say that I looked up.
For educational purposes only. Please respect the views and opinions of this channel. All accusations and or opinions are alleged on this channel. All names are alleged, obtained from public social media websites. Please respect the channel and its channel holders. And again, all names, accusations are alleged. Thank you.
Commit those things for your support.
All I talk is crack, I can get the brick out. Just say that I looked up. I put in the work.
Hello world, Crack back with another pack. Okay, today we're going to get into the famous twin Nim, which is the twin named Allie, the one that did not have the boyfriend that shot the father. So she did a Storytime interview on June 26, 2021. Now that was about maybe a week or two before the incident happened. Now what Storytime is my wife had to get me caught up on that. I didn't know what it was. It's where people come and I guess tell their grimiest or stories, whatever. It could be whatever kind of story it is. It could be made up. It could be true. That's what it's for, where you don't know if it's true or not. Now, my opinion is, and this is my opinion, I believe this is where the plot started. I believe they used this platform here in order to put a certain narrative out early so that when everything goes on, that there's narratives when you go back and you start to see, oh, yes, this happened, this, that, and the other, because I'm not sure I'm all the way in belief of this story and that they didn't have anything to do with it. And I'm sorry I have to say that, but it's just the things that they said. I mean, they already were blaming each other and saying that one sister is saying one sister gave the guy the gun on purpose, etc., etc. So I can only go by what they said. So if in the heat of the moment, to me, is where you really tell your truths. She was telling her truth at that time. That's what she's seen and that's what she felt, because you wouldn't have changed your story that quickly sitting in the back of the police car, in my opinion. I believe that she was getting either people were messaging her or she was getting something to tell her that she was going in the wrong direction. Maybe her emotions got caught up with her and she felt like, nah, that's not what I wanted to happen. Or maybe she did. I don't know. That's what we're here to try to find out. Like I told you guys in the earlier video, we're going to start from the beginning. So this was, I'm not sure if it was actually shot on June 26th, but it was uploaded June 26, 21. This is Nim, which would be Allie of the twins, of the famous twins. Storytime, titled About How I Got a Scar on My Face. Crack reacts. All right, let's get to it.
Kept trying to get the police on him. She kept trying to get the police on him. And I'm like, Ellie, stop what you trying to pray, trying for. The man don't got your money. He don't got your money at all. So why you keep trying to do this? So after that night, she went outside after she seen him. She went outside. But before all this, she been seeing Hera. Do they and Hera had sad words. They was trying to fight. Like Ellie been seeing Hera. She never told me she was scared of Hera. She thought she was trying to kill him. Like, why would he try to kill you when he was in the house with me? Like what he tried? How he tried to kill you? Like she blowing me down. Like she trying to make it better than what it is. So Ellie went outside and she got on the phone and she called my dad. She called my dad and she told my dad, I don't know exactly what she told my dad. She told my dad she was scared. She scared. She said she was scared. She think he told my dad that, yeah, my dad felt some type of way. My dad felt some type of way because Ellie told my dad. Ellie told my dad on the phone, told my dad, you already ain't doing that the first time when you hit me in the face.
What's up? It's your girl Nim, and I will be doing my first YouTube, and it'll be about how I got this scar. Let's get into it. Alright, so I won't be saying the real person name. I'm gonna just be using A, B, and C. A is me, B is the dude, and C is my cousin, okay?
Now remember I explained to you about story time. Story time could be fiction or it could be non-fiction. So what she's trying to say is B is the dude. The dude would be Henry Stevenson, right? And C, her cousin, would be her sister Sway. Now think about it this way. Now understand this story is, I believe it's true because remember in the beginning she just turned around and told you I won't be saying the real names like as if it was a true story. Just follow what I'm saying to you. I'm going to let a lot play instead of my normal stopping and speaking on certain situations. So I want you guys to listen to this close because I need you guys to listen to what she's saying. And then when we go on over this other live that I have, it will all make sense to you. You'll say, oh, this was the story. It seems like they were trying to put stuff out there because they were working up to doing something. I'm not claiming or accusing them, but just let me put this information out and then you guys can make an assessment of it and then we can discuss it. All right, let's get to it.
So boom. There was around when unemployment first started coming out, like in 2020, and they was getting everybody unemployment or whatever like that. So I applied or whatever like that. So my cousin knew that I applied, but I wasn't studying the money or whatever like that, because I be making money off music and streams and shit. I wasn't really tripping if they approved me or not, but I really, like, you had to go through too many steps or whatever. So I said, fuck that shit. But she was the only one knew that I wasn't studying it. Like, she knew more about the unemployment than I did. So I told her, like, oh, talk to the people for me, talk to my claim. Like, so I had to get her my social security and shit or whatever like that. So she had my social security or whatever like that. So boom, I already get food stamps. I've been getting food stamps since I was like in high school or whatever like that. So boom, they called me and was like, oh, we see you're getting unemployment. So I was like, huh? I was like, I applied, but like, I don't know if they approved me or whatever like that. So she was like, it's saying right here, you just received back pay. You done got like $8,000 from unemployment. We finna cut your food stamps off.
So basically you clearly knew that you were applying for, this is out of your mouth, unemployment, but you didn't want to go through the full steps. So what you did was you gave all of your information to your sister in order to complete the registration, is what I'm getting. So you're fully aware that there's a possibility that your sister went through with the information process, and there was a possibility she could have been receiving these benefits at the time, right? Okay, now let's go over that part. She claims that the unemployment office gave her a phone call about her food stamps, right? Now I know that they live in Alabama, and the state laws for unemployment and for county benefits could be different. But where I'm from, I have received a phone call about my food stamps before, and I knew why it was, because you got to put in perspective, these are young ladies, so she's trying to explain this story, in my opinion, in order to make it make sense. But since they're so young, it's so easy to read through it that this is not making sense. Now, they'll give you a phone call and ask you, are you receiving any other benefits? You either are going to say yes or you're going to say no. Once you've made your decision, once you've made gave your answer, then they don't give out any information from another source or another company, excuse me. They'll just ask you what your information in, say, okay, thank you. And then if you receive in you'll get a letter in the mail either, or most likely you'll get a letter in the mail stating you've been cut because of this, whether you lied or not. So I'm not sure about that. I'm just putting that out there just to let you know that that's kind of not how it goes down. Okay, so let's move on from there.
So I'm arguing with her. I'm like, bitch, how you gonna tell me? Like, bitch, I ain't get that shit. Like, you tripping. So I get the investigating shit. So I call like the unemployment people, whatever like that. So they was like, give me your name, your social security, your date of birth, and your mama name. So I got there, I'm giving them my name, my birthday, my address, and my number. So they was like, the address and your number recently just been updated like an hour ago. Or whatever. So I'm like, huh? What? She was like, yeah, it's recently been updated like an hour ago. So I'm like, what you mean? I ain't talked to y'all folks. I ain't updated shit. So boom, I'm like, damn, what the fuck? So that means somebody got my motherfucking unemployment shit and they getting my money. I ain't getting it now. Or whatever like that. So I'm like, that's crazy. Like, I don't know nobody who got my shit or whatever like that.
So basically you clearly knew that you were applying for, this is out of your mouth, unemployment, but you didn't want to go through the full steps. So what you did was you gave all of your information to your sister in order to complete the registration, is what I'm getting. So you're fully aware that there's a possibility that your sister went through with the information process, and there was a possibility she could have been receiving these benefits at the time, right? But yet and still, you clearly say here that you don't know anybody that's getting your stuff or will be receiving your benefits. You see what I'm saying? So that's where you lost me. It's like you just clearly said you gave all your social and your information to your sister and had her speaking to them. So right off the top, if this is me, I'm thinking my sister, right? Okay, let's move on.
Thank God for crack. Cook up the crack, watch him eat it up. I got grenade.
What's up, guys? Right now, we're going to take a brief intermission. Tell you to subscribe. We're trying to get our subscribers up. We're getting a lot of watch time. People aren't subscribing, so we want to try to get our subscribers up. And follow us at AudioCrack22 on all platforms. Thank you.
So boom, I get the searching, I then I call the number. So it's like, can I try address? Like I'm trying to, my old dude I used to talk to, I'm trying his shit. She was like, no, that's not the address on here. So goddamn, some say try my cousin boyfriend. Try my cousin boyfriend address and number. You know what I'm saying? So I tried the shit in his address. That shit, she was like, yeah, that's right. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, he getting my money. Like, that shit crazy. Like, what the fuck? So I'm asking my cousin. I'm like, how the fuck he get my shit? Like, what the fuck? Like, that shit green as fuck or whatever. So I'm thinking like, bitch, she gave him my social security. Y'all planning on getting my money. Thought I was never gonna find out. Or whatever like that. So I'm like, damn, that shit crazy. So I went to go confront her boyfriend at his apartment. I went to go confront him at his apartment. Me and my daddy or whatever like that. And my cousin. So me and my cousin go confront him, but he don't know, like he don't know I found out, you feel what I'm saying? So we played it like my cousin go to the door and acting like, you feel what I'm saying, she want to talk to him, but the whole time we against the wall. So boom, he opened the door for her, whatever like that. So we come swooping in, so he look spooked as fuck, like looking spooked as fuck. So I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, run me my money home, like run me my money.
Okay, so basically she ended up calling her sister, which she's saying that is her cousin in this story time, right? And her father. Now, they end up going to the gentleman's house, which would be Henry Stevenson, the gentleman that was the boyfriend of her sister that shot her father. Now remember, she's already admitted to giving her sister all of her information in order to just see whatever I guess she could do with it and finish the application process or whatnot. But I guess because she's been so busy and moving around, it slipped her mind, right? Okay, that's fine. But in between all of that, once you find out that your cousin's boyfriend, which is your sister's boyfriend, eventually is the person, once you talk to, that has your information, through the unemployment office, then automatically it should have hit you that, of course, my sister had to give it to her boyfriend. I mean, that's only logical. So what I'm feeling like is you sat down with your sister, and your sister, I guess, came up with maybe your sister blamed it on Henry without Henry knowing, or that's the confusion. See, the story doesn't make sense. It's like you knew the only way that Mr. Stevenson could get your information was through your sister, because the only person you gave your information to is your sister. Henry wasn't around you enough to get the information from you or to steal your information. I'm quite sure you probably don't even know where your social security card is. You know what I'm saying? So by you saying that, that's where the story gets a little jaded. It's like, it seems to me like you wanted to get your father involved on some He-Man shit in order to get him caught up in the situation. So whatever you guys had planned later, it would look right. So you put this story time out with the black eye. And this story could be, because of the story time and what it represents, it could be false or it could be real. And the reason why I went back to this is because at first it was $500,000 being spoken about, but then it turned around to becoming something about some unemployment money. So once I seen this, it kind of made me understand that this may be already plotted. This whole situation could have been plotted. Remember that her father is the manager of them. And remember that the father and the mother did not find out about TikTok through them. See, they blew up on TikTok, but the father and the mother, people were coming up to them and saying and talking about their daughters, and they didn't know about it. So they found out about TikTok kind of through the public. So that shows me the deceitfulness within the two girls about money. They thought that once they knew they were blowing up on TikTok and doing these videos, they didn't want to share it with their stepfather / manager, because that would have cut him in on the monies that they were receiving or were going to receive. So that's where my antennas went up on this. But we're going to keep on listening to her. Let's move on from here.
Where my money is. So I be like, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. Like, my mama, I just called unemployment and they said your name and everything is on my account. Like, why is your stuff on my account? Like, you need to run my money, because they just said they just paid you our back pay for all the times I fucking did my claim. They paying me all the time. Like, this shit just built up, basically, or whatever like that. So he just kept playing stupid. So he was like, oh my mama, da 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 da. So I ain't gonna lie, I got mad and charged, like I charged them, you feel what I'm saying? So boom, while we fighting, my cousin ended up getting in front of me and they was fighting. So he tried to hit her with the stick and ducked, and that bitch hit me or whatever like that. So that bitch hit me, I blacked that. I don't really know what happened after that. I just know I had a big ass gash right on my nose. Like, that hoe was big as fuck.
Now, mind you, this whole entire story, the only time she brought her father up was him and her standing behind the wall, ready to go in, right? When they get into the apartment, they get to arguing. Now, where's the father? Now, I'm a father. I know if my daughter was inside of some home arguing with some man, first of all, we're not going to be there doing none of that. But let's just say we're doing that. So we're there and we're arguing. I'm going to be in this story. You're going to say, my dad walked up, my dad said this, my dad went like this, my dad was, hold on, my dad said something. But you don't mention your father. Now you blacked out. So let's just move on from here and see what happens. But do you understand what I'm saying? When you're telling a story, I don't care what you're telling. Whoever's involved in the story is going to be involved in the story. You're not going to go in there, get to talking, get to arguing, get to asking about this and that, and your father says nothing. That's just not how life is. I don't care if the man had a gun or whatever. Your father's going to step up. He's going to take that for you because he's your father. But there's no mention of him. So let's keep that in mind. And that's what ultimately led me to believe this story was made up, or the story wasn't made up and it was just her and her sister that went over there to the house. And when they went to the house to confront him, the sister already knows that she's either receiving this money or received the money. We haven't got to the point where we are sure that anyone has received any money yet. So we don't know if any money has been exchanged. So that's the problem. We don't know what it is, but it just, in my opinion, she forgot to continue to mention her father in the story, which led me to believe that she knows her sister is the one that had her information, but she don't want to put her out there because that's her sister. But she's told her sister, well, look, we need to go get this money, point blank, period. And either Henry is a fall guy, which he doesn't even know about the money, and her sister used his address and all of that, because if you really think about it, think about this. There's no way that a man is going to be able to call the unemployment office as a man and act like a woman and say her information, especially when you're going through this situation with this fraud and everything that's going on with these loans and everything that's going on in the world at this point in time. So we know that the sister had to be the one to call, and she knows that her sister had to be the one to call because there's no way a male could do that. So there lies more deceitfulness, so I know they're young, but when you're young, I can remember myself telling the dumbest lies and trying my hardest to make them sound true. But you can't get that off. We're talking about money and murder, period. All right, let's move on.
Thank God for crack. Cook up the crack, watch him eat it up. I got grenade.
What's up, guys? Right now, we're going to take a brief intermission. Tell you to subscribe. We're trying to get our subscribers up. We're getting a lot of watch time. People aren't subscribing, so we want to try to get our subscribers up. And follow us at AudioCrack22 on all platforms. Thank you.
So goddamn, my shit was like leaking. So I was like, bet that shit up on my mama. You want to give me run you my money. I'm finna put a hit out on your head. Like, get what going on. So goddamn, I get up out of there because the police came they at Michael's, goddamn. So that's like some high class shit. So the white folks really be tripping. Goddamn, so the people across the street already you know what I'm saying, reported the shit. So the police was on the way. So I had to get up out of there because I had warrants. So you know what I'm saying? Mind you, my nose bleeding and everything. So I'm like, damn, this man really hit me with the stick,
Okay, remember, she clearly said, I got hit and I blacked out. I don't remember nothing else, right? Now she turns around with a story about the police was on their way, her nose was bleeding, etc., etc. But where I'm from, I know Michael's to be a department store. Yeah, it do be in certain neighborhoods. Don't be like where I be at, but it's a store that sells home items and things of that nature. And she also mentioned the parking lot. So there's a possibility that she met up with the dude in the parking lot or something like that. But prior to that, she was claiming they in the house. So my thing is, either you were in the house or you weren't. But the story is now seeming to be that you was outside, because if you was in the house, what people across the street are going to be seeing you to call the police. You're in a home. I can see if you said a neighbor heard all of the screaming and yelling and called the police, but to be across the street, they must have seen the altercation, and you're claiming that you got hit in the face with a stick, which not a regular stick, but a gun, a chopper. And so you're in a parking lot, he got the chopper out and he hit you in the face with it, right? That's not making sense to me. And again, there is no mention of her father. I want to repeat that. There has not been a mention of her father yet. Okay, let's move on.
Bruh, you got to that. Like, that way going on, whatever like that. So, boom, I get to calling. You probably say I get to calling. I ain't gonna say his name, but I get to calling him. I'm like, look at my nose, bro. Like, that shit lying, bro. Bro stole my money, hit me with a stick, boom, boom, boom. So they like, give me his address, whoop, whoop, you finna handle that shit. So I'm like, bet, whatever like that. I leave it alone, you feel what I'm saying? I ain't say shit to bro, I ain't say nothing else to him. But he DM me, like, you can come get your money from the bank. So, like, he had my money, y'all, but, like, the bank, like, you know how a bank freeze your money and want you to come in and get it so they can arrest you? That's how they had his shit. So, he was like, bro, your money at the bank, I couldn't get it without you. Duh, because you finna go to jail, the fuck? So, I ain't text him back, I ain't say nothing to him. So, I tell my dude, goddamn, what happened on FaceTime, you know what I'm saying? You know, he 38, he hot, like, where he at? You know what I'm saying? Like, where he at by me? You gotta see by me. It's real smoke out here. Like, all that. So, mind you, I'm at the hospital getting stitches in my nose. I had to get 5 stitches in my nose or whatever like that. So, I got my stitches or whatever like that. I never said shit else to the boy. Like, my cousin running to me like, yeah, that shit lame. Like, you want me to set him up and all this. So,
all right. Now, I know that these two young ladies are and associates of Honeycomb Brazy, and we all know what his lifestyle is. But I'm not sure if I would know any young men that's gonna put their life on the line, or you call them for a hit, etc. And they gonna go through with it over some money. Because if you pull up their past and if you listen to what the mother was saying to them out there on the scene, that they're always getting into something. They're always starting things with people and trying to make other people get involved to get their back. So all of this putting heads in what this individual and that individual was going to be, I believe that was just to be tough, you know, just to show like this is what they feel like they're about. In all actuality, that's not what they're about. They're just some young ladies that made it off dancing and got involved with trying to pull off of schemes and plots in order to make more money. Because the reason why I say that is you were already trying to hide the monies you were making from where you made all your money, which was TikTok, from your manager, which is your stepfather. So there's a lot of inconsistencies with these stories, so you got to read through when they're trying to tell the truth and when they're not. See, I think this is just something to put out there in order to let linger so that we believe the father was involved in some type of situation to lead to what the situation that happened. Because the individual that was involved in the situation, who she's claiming is her cousin's friend, is Henry. And he's the person that this all swirls around, Henry and the stepfather. Now, remember, she never, ever mentioned her stepfather ever again after that, hiding on the side. Now, if this story is true about the money, the unemployment money, the only way I believe that your check could be deposited into an account that doesn't have your name on it is for you to most likely be married or it be a parent of yours. I could be wrong. Now, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but or, you know what? Now that I thought about it, if this is true, let's say it's true, and they did say that, maybe it's a possibility that they were holding the money, true indeed, in order for someone to come up there and claim it so they can have a word with them. I'm not sure about that part, but I'm just putting it both ways out there to see if anybody could say, well, nah, you can get it deposited in whoever's account. Or, you know, you got to remember right now we was going through an epidemic where the unemployment the fraudulent was at its highest. So everything was being watched. So I'm not sure about that, but we'll see. Let's move on.
I'm like, bro, my mama, bro, gotta die. Like, oh, my mama, like, I got a on my face for the rest of my life. And this just ain't, like, this on my face. So, you know, I'm 38. So she was like, y'all, I'ma set them up for you, woo woo and all that. Like, I'm gonna play like I'm faking with them, but the whole time I'm trying to set them up. So boom, whatever, she playing me the whole time. So I'm like, y'all woo to the third or whatever like that. So boom, I find out where bruh stays.
There it is. I've been waiting on it. Did you hear that? So I find out where bruh stay at. Remember, we just went through a whole entire story about her father, and her cousin, which is her sister, all went to his house. But remember, in between that story, it changed to Michael's and in the parking lot. And do you understand where I'm going with this, y'all? If you sit and listen, a young person can't tell a story for so long if it's a lie and continue with the lie, because it's going to come out. They're just not seasoned enough to understand what they said and when they said it. So it's holes all through this story. So now you know where he stays. And that's where I say this may have been put out for a reason. Just follow me what I'm saying, because there's no entire reason why this story had to be put out this way, and then this situation happened. Now everybody in this story that she's talking about is in the situation that is of today, that happened with the father being brutally killed. So listen to what she's saying and understand that this story was put out for some odd reason. I'm not even, she keeps saying her nose. But to me, it looks like the cheek area. Now, I know that you could get hit in the cheek and then your nose could start bleeding, but she's really putting it on her nose. So, I mean, let's just listen and see what's going on. But now do you see where I'm talking about with the holes in the story? And it's not adding up. And my belief is she changed the names so that if she does have to use this story and say this happened, she could say, I changed the names because I didn't want people to know what was going on, and easily add those two names in. That's my opinion. But let's just move on and see what's going on.
Thank God for crack. Cook up the crack, watch him eat it up. I got grenade.
I'm like, like, I send my folks, like, folks, I got an edge, like, y'all go handle that or whatever like that. Mind you, I hear my cousin, she playing it to me like, oh, I'm trying to set him up for you. You know what I'm saying? Woo, just set him up for you. I ain't fucking with her, but the whole time she fucking with. You feel what I'm saying? On the low. You feel what I'm saying? So shit, I'm like, damn, that crazy. Like, I ain't even saying too much. Like, I'm like, damn, that crazy. Like, I gotta cut her out. Like, I ain't fuck with her. Like, yo, dude hit me with a stick and stole my social security. And you acting like ain't none of this shit just happened. So the way I'm feeling, like, bitch, you gave him my shit, like, bitch, did y'all try to steal my money? Like, y'all trying to work as a team and steal my money or whatever like that. So boom, I let that shit pass. You feel what I'm saying? I end up being in Houston for like, I'm gonna say like 2 months or whatever like that. So boom.
Okay, so what she's trying to say is that this situation happened and she left to go to Houston for whatever reasons, because you know that's where Honeycomb was before he got arrested for a while. So that's believable. But you uploaded this video on June 26, 2021, right? Now I know that you can make a video and not upload it, but that kind of makes it even worse, or it makes the plot even thicker, because it's like you chose to upload it on the 26th of June. Your father, his incident happened on June 30th. That's 4 days later. So if you think about it, it seems like if it wasn't a plot or a plan, you wanted people to see that scar on your face and you needed this to be up. How come you didn't upload it when it happened? And when really did it happen? If this happened, is what I'm trying to say, because again, we have not heard anything about your father being there or anything of the sorts. And you guys are basically saying that the father came over there because he was embarrassed that he didn't help you the last time you got hit in your face with the gun. So you knew he was going to come over there. If you said that, he would come over there and help. It's just not making sense. You uploaded this June 26th. Your father, his incident happened June 30th. Come on, y'all, think about that. Why would you upload this 4 days before that? Why didn't you do it before? And the reason I'm saying that is because she's clearly saying, I went to Houston for 2 months. There's no way that you can go to Houston for 2 months from this upload. So why would you upload it now? That's just a question I'm throwing out. All right, let's move on.
I ain't heard shit up from bro or whatever like that. He was sending my cousin threats or whatever like, oh, it's real smoke when I see you and Allie, y'all gonna die, all this shit, like, big boy with me. So I'm like, what the fuck? Bet it up. Boom, come back to the city, goddamn. End up coming back to the city or whatever like that. I wake up one morning, he texts me, goddamn, like, oh yeah, it big smoke when I see you guys know you gonna die. This shit to the third now. I'm like, what the fuck wrong with bro? Like, tripping or whatever like that. So boom, I ain't say shit else to do. I'm reading, bro. Text me. I got him on the street. I can see his shit, but he don't know I seen his shit. What else? I'm screenshotting and sending it to my little folks. Like, bro, like, y'all got to handle that. Y'all can't let bro slide. Like, that what going on. So boom, all that shit die down. No one even stunning shit no more. You feel what I'm saying? Boom. My little cousin called me and was like, twin, such and such over here. The same nigga hit me with a stick over here. She was like, I just caught him in the bathroom, woo-de-woo. So I'm like, damn, for real? So I'm 38, like I'm mad all over again, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, that crazy. So I called my little folks, I'm like, bruh, they say woo-de-woo over there. So goddamn, they pull up, tell him he gotta leave or whatever like that. But it took him 2 hours to leave. So I'm like, the fuck? What the fuck? What's my purpose of calling y'all over this hole if it take him 2 hours to leave? Tell my cousin said she gonna take him home.
Now, y'all tell me, do that make sense? You call your niggas over there, and I guess you not there. So they go over there for you, and they sit out there for 2 hours to make a nigga that hit you in the face with a stick. They wait 2 hours for him to leave. Now you see the inconsistencies in this story. Like, this shit is being made up as we go, I believe. I believe this was all for a reason. The way she's telling the story as if it's long and drawn out. You got 2 months that we can attest for. You said you left for 2 months. On top of that, you coming back, then you saying, I left it alone, I forgot. You know, like, this is not making sense. I believe this was part of the plan to show that her father was somewhat involved in the situation, so that when whatever the situation ends up happening or they have planned, this would come back and they could say, I was telling the story, but I just wasn't using the real names. But at the end of the day, we're yet to still hear her father's name being brought up. But let's move on.
But if she didn't take him home in them 10 minutes, you told him to get up out of her, you supposed to took that man home. Like, that what going on. So, boom. I'm mad as fuck. I'm mad at my folks, too. Like, y'all really let this man sit here for a whole another 2 hours. I should have just told my boy to pull up and just beat his ass or hit his ass with a clip or something. Long as he was over here. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all really trying my shit. Boom. Alright, the next day come, the day after, my cousin called me telling me he was in the house. He was over there again. She called him in the bathroom again. So I'm like, damn. That what type of time y'all on? Like, that what type of time y'all know? So boom, get what I go over that hoe. Me and my whoop go over that hoe. Goddamn, so boom. Alright, we go over that hoe. We pull up, goddamn. So I'm like, when you go up now, hoe, don't do no talking. Like, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta handle that. That's what's going on, bro. Been whipping the whole time. Like, you can't let man slide on and hit that shit. So you know what I'm saying? He running to me in the car like, you know, if I do this, woo, you can't go back fucking with your kids. I'm like, you can't do that shit. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, he just kept saying the shit like, I'm mad at fuck. Like, this ain't the time to be talking about all that shit. Like, go up in there and do what you gotta do.
Now, remember earlier, I clearly told you guys, I don't know any young man or a real man besides your father or uncle or a family member that will put their life on the line for someone such as yourself. Now, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with the young lady, but if you listen to what her family says and what's out in the open, it's that they start things and try to put people in them. So if you think about it, this could have been a real situation right here, because the way that she's saying how the dude was like, man, if I do something, you can't just be back cool with your cousin, which is your sister, because I know how it is. He probably was thinking, man, fuck that. I'm not finna put my life on the line and then you be back talking to your sister. I know how y'all get down, if that makes any sense. Which I don't believe that this story even happened, because, I mean, if you think about it, this is a long time. This is, I mean, I don't know. There's no timeline on this, because if the video was uploaded on the 24th. So there's no timeline to say, oh yeah, this happened. Now, you do have a scar, but you don't have a scar during the time that the situation occurred with your father. So that's telling me that whatever happened to your face happened a long time ago. Now, the reason why you uploaded the video at this point in time, that's mind-boggling to me. I don't understand what the purpose would be unless you had a plan or a plot, and you can fall back on here and say, those are the people I was speaking of. And that's just my opinion. And again, the reason why I say that is because the young lady Sway brings up the part of she thought she was calling her father because he was going to do something regardless, because if she brings up that he didn't do nothing the last time when she got hit in the face with the stick. Now, that let me know that she was talking about this situation. Do you get it? What I'm saying is, she's trying to make it seem like it's a cousin and a friend of hers, her cousins. But her sister has already brought this story up and says that's the reason why she called her father to the house, because she had Henry in the house. And the last time Henry hit her sister in the face with a stick, her father didn't do nothing, so she knew her father was going to do something this time. That doesn't make any sense. So that's what led me to believe this is a plot, or someone planned something, because again, you would be bringing up your father, and then my father this, my father. Your father has something to do with this story, but this story is not pertaining to your father. You brought him up one time just to put him at a scene of a situation that happened, if that makes sense. So by the sister Sway bringing up this incident about the stick and her getting hit in the face, if they do go to court and have to bring up anything that happened pertaining to father and the boyfriend, then she can fall back on this story saying, I've already told this story. You can clearly see my face on video and when he did it. So she's already implicating the father within it. On top of, Sway has brought up the unemployment money, which we knew nothing about unemployment. All we knew about was $500,000. So let's keep going and see where she goes from here. On to the next.
Thank God for crack. Cook up the crack, watch him eat it up. I got grenade.
Whatever like that. So boom, I just started crying, cause like I thought he would kill. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you trying to talk to me now, like you can talk to me after this. Like, just go do what you gotta do. Alright, so boom, he go in there with what a dude at. So goddamn, he be like what up? Like, what up? So like they finna fight. You feel what I'm saying? So boom, my cousin jumped in front of him. Somebody, boy, you not gonna fight him, whatever, boom, boom, to third. So I like, what? Like, you on this nigga's side? You taking up with this man? Like, she was like, yeah, Allie was trying to set him up the whole time. Like, she wasn't trying to set him up, like, she was trying to blame everything on me. Like, she was like, y'all twin trying to set you up the whole time, like, yeah. Or whatever like that. So I'm like, bro, you trying to set that man up too? Like, don't try to blame this shit on me. Like, what the fuck? You talking about you gonna be cool with him and set him up? Boom. So I like, that shit crazy. So she was like, it's your fault you got hit with a stick. You should have never charged that, bro. What the fuck? Some of that hoe hurt as fuck. Like, It's my fault I got hit with a stick. If he would have never stole my Social Security, I wouldn't even never been over that hoe. Like, what is you saying? So I'm like hurt as fuck, like, cause she really downplayed this shit. So I'm on that hoe, I'm crying, like, damn, like, for real though.
So right now we gonna go with, let's just say the story is true. Now, if we rolling with the story and we just going by, there's no plot, no plan, and this is 100, then the sister kept stopping the situation because, of course, she knew she was in on the situation. She's the only person that had the information and the voice in order to make it all work. And you obviously knew that she was the only person to have the information because you clearly said in the beginning of this story time that you gave her the information because you didn't have time for it. Why you're trying to avoid the part that you said you gave her the information, that's where I believe the plot is, because you don't want to put her in it because it's not true. Because if you put her in it, there's no getting at Henry. It'll be you getting at your sister, period. You'll be checking your sister because without your sister, Henry can't do nothing. And that's where I feel like this was all planned in order to, because all parties are involved in the demise of her father. All parties that she's speaking of, but she won't put the blame on her sister for whatever reason. Because if you have to fall back on this and you was putting blame on your sister, who you claim in this story is your cousin, then your sister is going to jail. So do you understand where I'm going with this? It's like they tried to put something out lingering and it's not going to work out because your sister, the only reason I know it's you guys instead of a cousin and a friend is because your sister Sway brought the situation up by saying that you called your father and told him that Henry was over there and you knew your father was going to do something because Henry hit you in the face with a stick and he didn't do nothing last time. But we never heard anything about your father. What happened? Did you guys get in the car? He picked you up? Nothing. It's just you kept on going. And by you doing that leaves doubt. It leaves unanswered questions. And that is something that you will say when you go to court, oh, I didn't want to speak on it that much because I didn't want to involve my father, etc., etc. But none of that is going to work because there's no evidence that this situation happened. Yes, you do have a scar on your face, but the timing of you uploading the video with the scar and you trying not to implicate the individuals that really were involved in it, except your father. See, you said your father, but then everyone else is A and B. So that's where the curiosity of was this all planned and plotted began to grow into my mind. Because once your sister said what she said and she vouched for this story, then that led me to believe that something wasn't right and you guys were trying to fall back on that story or make people such as myself go and dig up what story you were talking about, right? And lo and behold, you have a story time basically saying the same exact story. Well, not what your sister said, but the part about your father not doing anything when you got hit in the face with a stick. And I believe the timing was just entirely wrong and bad for you to do this. On top of the inconsistent stories in both of you guys' actions. This just doesn't make sense. This seemed like it wasn't well plotted and it wasn't well planned. But I mean, you guys are free, so obviously you did something right. But I see right through this, and I'm gonna bring this to the forefront. Rest in peace, Mr. James Walters. No one deserves to lose their life, but for a man to father two young ladies that's not biologically their father and give his life to them also, the way that they were crying, they were hurt, and he didn't deserve that. So again, rest in peace, Mr. Walters. I hope that your daughters didn't have anything to do with this, but it's just seeming out of the ordinary, all of the things that are coming out about this. So hopefully I could shed some light on this and your family can get some justice. All right, let's move on.
Like, you really said it my fault. So I'm like, man, come on, let's get up out the hole. Like, a nigga would hurt. So, boom. Goddamn. I'm hurt for the fact. What if the stick didn't hit me in my fucking nose? What if that hoe went off and I'm dead? You feel what I'm saying? Like, what if that hoe went off and I'm dead? You feel what I'm saying? Y'all wouldn't even step behind me. Like, y'all letting my cousin be with the same nigga hit me with a stick. I got this mark on my face for the rest of my life. Y'all was just like, what if I was dead? Like, y'all are still, like, y'all agree with her still going out with a dude that basically killed me? That's how I'm feeling. Like, that's how I'm feeling. Like, that shit really lame. Like, I was really hurt to the point, like, that what if I was dead? Y'all gonna let her be with, you gonna let my cousin be with the killer?
How ironic. I just stopped it here to say that was really ironic for her to say, how could Sway be with a person that killed her when the situation had just happened, right? I just want to put that out there. All right, let's move on.
And y'all not gonna step behind me? Like, man, I was 38. When I say I was 38, I was 38, bro. Like, moral of the story, that blood thicker than water shit, man, that shit count. That shit count. I'm telling y'all from life experience. No matter if you been with your cousin since y'all was in Pampers.
Exactly. Since you've been in Pampers. And you have been. Since you've been in Pampers. You've been connected to her. Your sister. Not your cousin. Your sister. Look, it's easy to lie. You can, I mean, people lie every day. But when you lie and you record yourself lying, the worst thing that you want to be attached to your lie is a stop and rewind button. You don't want that, because when you have that, a person can really listen to what you're saying and understand that you're not telling the truth, because you wavering, you going from here to there, this story, and we still haven't heard about your father. On to the next.
Thank God for crack. Cook up the crack, watch him eat it up. I got grenade.
Bro, when a hoe love a nigga, they don't give a fuck about who they hurt or none of that shit. Like, and that shit crazy. Like, I don't respect that shit, cause like I literally be doing everything for my cousin. Like, she be like, can I get this? Or, you know what I'm saying? I give her my food stamp. You know what I'm saying? I just be doing everything, but you really switched up on your family for a nigga. Like, that shit crazy. Like, that shit crazy, bro. So now, me, I gotta have this mark. Y'all can't really see it for real. Y'all can't really see it for real. It been about a good. You could barely see it. It like right there. But now, I gotta walk around with this mark on my face for the rest of my life. Like, shit crazy. Like nigga be, y'all don't know what a nigga be going through. Like, y'all see a nigga get on Instagram, you know what I'm saying, be laughing and shit, but mentally, a nigga hurt behind that shit. Like, I'm hurt, like, to the point I had blocked my mama, I blocked my dad.
Number 2, that's the second time she mentioned her father, and she blocked him. Why? There's no reason to block your father when, by this story, if I'm on the outside just listening, I'm not really thinking your father has much involvement in it, because I forgot about your father even being involved. But then when you turn around and your sister brings up this incident as an important part of the unfortunate incident that just occurred to your father, then that leads me to believe that she felt like there was more involvement with your father, or it was a plot. Now, you're not bringing him up much because maybe that was what you wanted to do. You guys talked about it. Okay, I'm going to talk, but I'm not going to bring him up as much. So when you bring him up and say, oh yeah, we knew he was going to get mad because he didn't do anything the last time, that's showing that you're green. You really green and young. You know what I mean? You implicated your father in something that got his life took, in my opinion. I'm sorry I had to go so hard. I mean, if that's going hard, but it's starting to seem like this was all planned. And I keep repeating myself because I have a strong feeling that there's more to this. It's too many people involved, too many unfortunate situations. and too many of the same last names. We're going to get to that on my next Crack Reacts. I'm going to show you how many people surrounding this situation have the last name Jones. Remember the 74-year-old man, Mr. James Jones, who was in his home on his dialysis machine, who allegedly Mr. Morrell went around with the wrong identity and killed him. His last name Jones. These two young ladies, their last name is Jones. And then we'll go over the other couple people whose last name is Jones, because I have a problem with a man going and kicking in the door and seeing a older man sitting or standing there, and you kill him looking for, because right now what they're saying, the news and everyone's trying to say, is that you went around there looking for Henry Stevenson. Now we all know, if you haven't seen him, Henry Stevenson, he's a smaller, he's kind of small. So you're gonna see Mr. Stevenson and you'll know it's him. You're gonna see an older gentleman and you're gonna know it's him. And how did they know that those two were connected so fast? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm still researching. I'm trying to figure out, why would the police put out that was connected? It's just mind-boggling. There's a lot of stuff going on in this story. Stick with me, guys. We're, like I told you, we're gonna go over this from the beginning, and we're gonna keep moving, and at the end we'll put everything together and come up with a fair and logical explanation of why this man had to lose his life and be away from his family. So rest in peace to James Walters. Rest in peace to James Jones. And I hope Bree gets better soon. Until next time.
All I talk is crack, I can get the brick out. Yeah, it's crazy reminiscing every decision I made. Yeah, I was fucked up. I put in the work and never, no nigga can ever just say that I looked up. Yeah, I feel like the hottest nigga out the south. All these pussy niggas need to put on the block. Ain't showing no one, boy, I'm snatching your life, but I'm putting some work. What a hell of a life. Don't fuck with a young nigga looking for skirts. Not fuck with these niggas no more. Half of these niggas be bitch made. Ain't no discussion, yeah, they know I'ma get paid. I was taught never before, never hate on nobody. Yeah, I got grenade. I was just up and found all the fuck niggas. Diamonds above the rim. He don't wanna be baller. Kick his ass up out the gym. Get to the bed, never start with your hustle. Slide out, never trust nigga.